Subscribe if you enjoy the video. Valheim is a game where experience pays dividends to learn the ins and outs of the game's functionality. But even the most experienced players still find themselves learning new mechanics. So here are 7 must-know tips for all you Valheim players, whether you consider yourself experienced or not. Tip number 1, arrows can provide light. Ever find yourself surrounded by darkness without a proper source of light to lead the way? Well, if you happen to have a bow and any special arrows such as fire, poison, or frost, shoot one onto a nearby surface and it will illuminate the area around you for exactly 20 seconds. Tip number 2, sit down when building. Every Valheim player has come across that moment during the build process where you just can't seem to get that snap point you need. And so before you dig into the ground, try sitting down. Sitting down lowers the camera's position, which can help give you the angle you need to get the perfect snap point. Tip number 3, teleport your boat. Well, you can't literally move your boat through a portal, but you can still bring it with you. Remember that although metals themselves can't be teleported, products of metals such as nails can be. So simply destroy your boat, pick up the resources used to craft it, and go through the portal. Now that you're there, rebuild the boat, and you've just saved yourself a whole trip's worth of time. Tip number 4, extra boat storage. Staying on the topic of boats, hauling items from one side of the world to the other can be a long process, so you'll want to take as much stuff as you can in one trip. To maximize storage capacity on a boat, fill up a cart and load it onto your ship. This method works on both the Carve and the Longship. But be wary that since the Carve is a smaller ship, it can sometimes be a bit tricky to get the cart on there securely. Maybe more than just sometimes. But once you've got it, you'll be all set and on your way to deliver the goods. Tip number 5, safe crypts. Early on, crypts in the Black Forest and the swamp can be a pretty daunting feat to overcome without dying, especially without the best armors or foods. And if you ever plan on doing a hardcore playthrough, this tip is for you. Bring a Stag Breaker. Not only can this weapon damage multiple enemies within its attack radius, but its attacks also land from behind walls, easily making it the safest method to deal with enemies in close quarter environments. It's also particularly good at destroying spawners within crypts, so it's a must-have. Tip number 6, troll fishing. And no, not that kind of troll. If you're ever on a boat trip near the coast and happen to have a fishing rod and some bait on you, cast out your line, then hop onto the rudder. You'll be able to reel in your line and you'll still have full functionality of the boat. And you'll be surprised to see just how many fish you end up catching. Just note that if the boat ends up gaining too much speed, the line on the rod will break and you'll have to recast. Also, make sure to not make your casts too long or you won't be able to reel fast enough to catch up with the speed of the boat. Tip number 7, troll farming. And yes, this time it is that kind of troll. If you haven't thought of it already, trolls can actually be pretty excellent farmers with a little bit of guidance. Not only can they be considered efficient in certain circumstances, but they can actually help you acquire specific materials before you're at the point of being able to get them yourself. Prime examples of this in the early game are fine wood before getting a bronze axe or copper before getting your first pickaxe. Plus, who doesn't want a big blue friend helping them out once in a while? Anyways, those are my 7 must-know tips to help you out on your Valheim adventures. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and consider subscribing. Leave a comment letting us know your top tips for Valheim. And with that said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.